Hello everyone, it's Mark Shalero, the owner of MS Classic Cars, and today I'm presenting you an absolutely beautiful 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 Custom. Everybody has been patiently waiting for this car as it's been on our future inventory page for a while. We just went live with it today. Make sure to check it out, msclassiccars.com. There is a ton of highlights. There's a full description. There's over 200 photos. There's multiple videos. We will be doing a driving video of this car next week, so stay tuned for that. The point of today's video is for me to use my LED flashlight, walk around the car, just point out any imperfections and give you a little history on this vehicle. So, for anybody that does not know, MS Classic Cars specializes in first-generation Camaros. We have had some of the best cars on the planet. Those cars include not only factory correct restored cars, but also custom cars. We kind of flip-flop between both. I'm a fan of both, as most people are. Over all the years that we've been doing first-generation Camaros, especially 1969, I would say that this particular car was one of our biggest stars. Now, what I mean by that is this is a vehicle that I actually purchased in 2020. I had purchased it from the gentleman who had done the restoration, which I'm going to get into in a minute. Then we had sold it pretty quickly, and during that time frame that it was listed, we had over 1 million views on this car. It was actually a really awesome car when we had it. Everybody obviously fell in love with it. I still today see this car pop up on more forums and on more websites and images on Google search because the car just works. I think everybody understands what I mean when I say that. It just absolutely works. It is total eye candy. Truly awesome. So to go back real quick, and again, you can get more information on our website, but just to give you the fast and quick story of this car, a gentleman had actually purchased it. It was a California car, really its entire life. It was built in Los Angeles. So again, it was a really great car to start a restoration with. As the VIN number indicates, it was originally built with an 8-cylinder. You can again get that from a VIN number. And in regards to the VIN number, the cool part of this car is the last 3 digits of the VIN are 777. So back when we owned the car in 2020, I had nicknamed it Lucky Sevens, and that's what we're sticking with today. So that's where the Lucky Sevens comes from. Thought that was kind of a cool thing to dub the car as. So the gentleman again that built this car spent countless dollars and hours putting together this car over a couple-year period. It was finished in around 2009. He actually got tons of exposure with this car. It was actually in multiple magazines, which I have over here. It actually was in Good Guys. We're a member of Good Guys at MS Classic Cars, great organization. We've done things with Hot Rodding Magazine. This car is in Hot Rodding Magazine. It's also in Camaro Performers. It even graced the cover of Chevy Performance. You can see the brand new binders on the floor there. This gentleman did such a great job of organizing all these binders. I replaced these, of course, they're brand new. This is the invoice for what we did at MS Classic Cars. Just so everybody is very clear, we invested almost $35,000 in this car. Recently taking it to the next level. I'll get into that in a minute. We even have the invoice of when we sold the car back in 2020, what I had invested in the car then. But the gentleman who built it was so methodical that he literally listed every single thing on this car page by page by page. I remember when I was going over all of these receipts and all of these notes. Look at this, even this one here. It just goes on and on and on. I had totaled up over $250,000 that he invested in this car, which was absolutely insane. I think some of his Invoices had reflected like $25 an hour, so we had placed that at like $100 an hour and came up with a number that was really substantial. And like I said, then we went and we invested the money that we do. So everybody's clear. What we do at MS Classic Cars is we buy vehicles that are in number 1, number 2 condition, like this vehicle here. We take great pride in servicing all the vehicles that we sell. And then what we do is we also, cosmetically improve cars too. And I say that I'm not just talking about the detailing aspect of it, but I'm talking about things like steering wheels or seats or valve covers or wheel selection, things like that. I kind of have a pretty good pulse in the market, know what's kind of trending, and we kind of tailor some of our cars to that current market. And that's what we've done here today. So the story goes, when I sold this car in 2020, the gentleman who bought it, really nice guy, he lived in Texas, and he spent a lot of time in his business that he owns going overseas, and he really never got a chance to really drive the car and enjoy the car like he thought he would. So after we sold it, I think he only accumulated about 300 or 400 miles. He made a show board for it and had a car cover and all that kind of stuff. But really the car spent most of its time in his garage. So he reached out to me in late 2023, and he had said to me that he was thinking about selling the car. Of course, I remembered the car. I jumped on the opportunity to buy the car back. Corey Smiley, who's actually doing the video for us right now, who does all of our photography and all of our social media work and stuff like that. Corey's father, Brian Smiley, he lives in Texas. He owns a speed shop, DFW Performance. And this customer who owned this car was very close to Brian in distance. So I reached out to Brian. I asked for him to go pick up the car with his enclosed trailer, bring the car back to his shop, and then he could, at his leisure, he could spend some time doing some things that we wanted to do to the car. So Brian had the car for about a year or so. He kind of worked on it, worked off of it, and so forth. The biggest thing that we wanted to do to this car, besides what I'm going to go over now, is we wanted to install air conditioning. And that was a pretty big undertaking considering what the car was and what it had and everything else. So that really was Brian's primary focus. We ended up getting the car back from Brian this year. And MS Classic Cars, again, we basically took the car to the level that you see here and all the things that we've done to it. So I'll kind of touch base on some of those things as I walk around the car and just give you a review of what we did and so forth. To be very clear, everybody, claims to have a pro touring car. Everybody, says that their car would be a good car on the autocross track and so forth. This car is a proven pro touring autocross car. As it's documented in all the magazines, it has proven itself on the track. Michael Marcella, our service manager, said, Mark, this car is an awesome, awesome car to drive. It runs really good. It's got a ton of power. And to be clear, so there's no confusion, after the gentleman had built the car and did the restoration, it had a 454 engine in the car, which you will see in all the magazines and things like that. It was about a year and a half later, after he had done what he did with the car, he decided to actually purchase, which was a rare opportunity, a Chevy Performance ZL1 engine. That's an all aluminum engine. He bought the block. It even has its own serial number, which we've put in our description. And it was a replica engine that Chevrolet Performance made that was just like the engine back in 1969 that was available with the Camaro. So he jumped on that opportunity. He contacted a company. Again, all the receipts are in there. They built the engine from the block, and they did an unbelievable job with all the components that they used and so forth. Since the engine install, the car's only had about 3,000 miles added to it, so the whole restoration has just over 6,000 miles. And the car was never autocrossed with this new engine. Again, he jumped on that opportunity when he heard it was available. He kind of rebadged the car to ZL1 from the 454, and here's what we have today. So that's kind of the story of the car. And again, this is the first time that we've presented it since we did back in 2020. I'm really excited to show you it. So let's get right into some of the details. Now, first thing, if I look at this car, with all my years of experience, we have almost 1,000 sold cars on our website. People who follow us know that I'm a pretty good judge of character with cars in general. If I looked at this car and I just had to make a guess of when it was restored based on what I see, in my opinion, I would say this car looks like it might have been restored within the last 2 years, okay? That's how well taken care of this car was. The guys in the detail department did an unbelievable job with a paint correction. They brought this paint to life. We have had people walk into the showroom and ask if the car is wet, okay? Because the car truly looks wet. They did an amazing job. This is a GM color. It's called Admiral Blue. It is a absolutely stunning color in person. I can promise you, as good as it looks in the photos, the color is even more striking in person. So let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to use my flashlight, and I'm just going to kind of hover over here. If I see any chips or imperfections, I'm going to point them out. If you do see a little tiny dot, sometimes that can just be something like this, which is dust. So I'm not going to get so picky that I'm pointing out a piece of dust. I'm just going to point out anything that I think a new owner should be aware of. This car's got really nice gap lines. It's got obviously a cowl hood. Again, I don't see anything on this hood that's worth mentioning. Again, we're going to get down here. It's got this really nice new black grille. As we look at this front panel here, again, some of these things like that right there would be an example. That was just a smudge. This black grille is brand new. Everybody's going to appreciate this. This is actually the Rally Sport headlight covers. This is a Detroit Speed electronic headlight conversion kit that's been added. We have videos of them opening and closing. It's not vacuum operated like the original ones were. And you can see that the fit and finish in here is actually really nice. If you go online and you look at most Camaros, that's where things get a little sloppy. Brand new chrome bumper. Obviously that was done when it was replaced during the restoration, but look at how tight these lines are. And again, I don't really see anything that's worth mentioning. It's just absolutely in beautiful condition. So there's really nothing on the front here. Actually, Corey, we got a little tiny chip there that I just noticed. And we also have another one on the edge here. Okay, that's really all that's worth mentioning. As we go down the side of the car and look at the front fender, again, I'm just looking for anything worth noting. It's in near flawless condition, this car. Love these badges. The ZL489. The ZL1 is a 49 cubic inch aluminum engine. Love these wheels. These are 18-inch Budnik. Like to give them a shout out. They're a great company that we do business with. Friendly with the team there. These are called shotguns. These are a combination of brushed finish with a little bit of the clear. They fit this car like a glove. MSC Classic Cars mounted these brand new tires on here, so these are brand new. These are one of our favorite tires. They're Firestone Firehawk Indy 500s. These are awesome tires. These are 265 35 18s. And you can see this car's got the perfect rake. All of the glass in this car is brand spanking new. And again, when I say new, I'm referencing when the car was restored. But everything was done. All the stainless was done. It's got obviously got chrome wiper arms. The dashboard is new. Dash pad's new. Again, the mirrors are new. Door handles are new. Look at the gap lines on this car. It's got really nice gap lines. There is a little chip here. Again, I'm just going to point out anything I see that's worth mentioning. As we look at the side here, I don't really see anything else. It looks absolutely stunning. Again, the guys just did a paint correction on this car, so it looks really, really good. Brand new door handles. Again, looking at the roof of the car. Again, if you see anything in the photos, that you might question is a small chip. It's dust. Okay, we have the AC going right now. Like if I blow that, you saw how all that just blew off. It just kind of keeps accumulating. There is a little tiny imperfection there. These drip rails are really, really nice. Just want to make sure I point that out. As far as the interior goes, I'm going to touch base on just a few things that we did recently. We added a brand new one-piece headliner. It's actually molded. It's vinyl. The company who makes that is TMI. People might know that name. It's kind of a big name in the restoration world as far as aftermarket accessories, parts, etc. We have a lot of cars with TMI seats, but this was a brand new one-piece headliner. It fits really good. We did a nice job installing that. The car does have autometer, auto light, carbon fiber gauges, which have been in the car from the beginning. They look awesome. We did add a Billet Specialties 14-inch Formula steering wheel. When we just did this refresh, it does have a tilt column. You'll notice in there, if you want to bring the camera and see, you'll see that Hurst shifter, one of my favorite parts of the car. That's a really aggressive shifter. The center console is wrapped in carbon fiber. It does have cup holders. It has a storage compartment. Another thing that we added to this car was we added these Pro Car seats. These are Scat Elite seats. They're one of our favorite seats that are offered because they're pretty big. All different types of size people can fit in them comfortably. They do have modern seat belts. You will notice that this car does have a half cage here. The bar in the back is removable if people want to get into the back seats, but this is definitely something that adds a lot of stability to the car, and it doesn't really interfere with the interior space. We also, most importantly, as I mentioned earlier, had vintage air conditioning installed in this car, so you'll see that was nicely done in the interior. Last thing I'd like to say about the interior of this car, again, it reminds me of the 1970 blue 70 Chevelle LT4 that we just sold on Bring a Trailer. That car also had a relatively simple custom interior that really appealed to a lot of people. I think this interior falls into that same category. So as we look at these rear quarters, which are absolutely stunning, hopefully the camera picks up on how amazing this paint is and how straight the body is. There is a little imperfection here as well. Again, I'm just going to point out as many little things as I can to be as transparent as possible. Obviously, you got the black accents here that match the front grille on these rear quarters, but very straight, beautiful. I don't see anything else worth mentioning. The rear wheels are 19-inch. Perfect fitment for a 69 Camaro. Again, these are the brand new tires that we put on at MS Classic Cars. Really like those Firestone Firehawk Indy 500s. We come over to the back of the car here. Again, all the glass was brand new. You'll see how tastefully done the rear package tray is. It's got 6x9 speakers that are back there. Those are Infinity branded speakers. You'll see the little emblem there. That's cool. You'll see how the cage ties into the package shelf. You can really see it was tastefully done. All the bright work is still shiny and crisp. Everything just looks really good back here. I don't see anything worth mentioning as far as scratches or chips on this rear deck lid. When we do look at the rear spoiler, if you catch it at the right light, there's kind of like a little thing here. Again, it's not really noticeable unless you're looking for it, but I'll make note of that. The rest of the spoiler looks to be in great shape. I really like the rear end of this car. They went obviously with this satin black tail panel here, complemented it with these billet taillight bezels, which look sharp. Of course, the ZL1 emblem, even the one is the same color as the car. It's just the little things. Nice new rear bumper. This car just has such a sexy look in the back. When we come over here on the passenger rear quarter, there's an area underneath, okay, so you don't really see it unless you stand far away, catch it at the right angle, but there's a little spot there of paint that has been worn down. Not 100% sure how that happened, but again, you don't really see it because the spoiler covers it. But again, I just want to make sure that people are aware it's there. Even these lines in here are really nice. A lot of times these get sloppy with Camaros, but looking at the side here, again, I don't see any chips. I don't see any scratches or imperfections. If anybody's wondering how this car was autocrossed and doesn't have a lot of chips, you know, on the bottom of the rear quarters, I do remember when we had this car the first time, we had done some paint blends in there. So we got rid of a lot of that road rash that's typically found in this area here. On the lower rockers, and even I think on the bottom of the front fenders, we had done a little bit of blending work just to cover some of those. But clearly the car looks spectacular. I mean, you would never have guessed that it was actually autocrossed a few times. Looking at the roof, again, super nice condition. I just see a little bit of dust. Drip rails are really, really nice. Right here, again, you wouldn't probably see it unless I put my flashlight on it. Right in here, there's just a little bit of clear that maybe was never wet sanded out completely. And when we see these fine lines and stuff with these cars, we don't want to do any wet sanding where we can burn through any paint, but I'll just make note of that. Again, you would only see it if you're looking for it at the right angle. As far as the driver's door is concerned, I don't see any chips or scratches. I mean, it's beautiful. New door handles, of course, like I said earlier, new mirrors. We did recently put new door seals on this car because the door seals were getting old and aged and starting to crack. So we purchased the best door seals that you can buy, even though they're advertised as soft. Everybody knows exactly what I'm talking about. It takes a little while for those seals to break in. So I just want to make a comment that they are brand new. We did a really nice job installing those. But when you shut the door, just for a little while until they you know, sink in, you just have to give it a good push for now. That's the compromise when you put new seals in for a little while. But we want to make sure that everything that we sell is done to the highest standard that we can make them to for the new owner to enjoy. Just want to make sure I mention that. Again, the windshield's in beautiful condition over here as well. There's our MS Classic Cars sticker. That's kind of the last thing we do to a vehicle when we're done in the service department. One thing I will also mention, kind of like this little area in the top here, the antenna was smoothed over where it was, and if you catch it at the right light, you might not be able to see it in the camera, but there's a little circle here that you can tell where there was originally an antenna. But once again, it's something you have to look for. I don't think anybody would really ever notice that at like a show unless you catch it again in the right light. Absolutely stunning. Again, even the wheels on this car are like new. The original builder, this was his pride and joy. He had the car for a while before we purchased it. Like I said, it was finished in 2009 timeframe. We purchased it in 2020. So this was in his care and custody for 10 years. So again, it was well taken care of. Now here's where it gets really exciting. So you'll notice it's just an awesome engine compartment. When you look at the first thing I do, I look at the firewall. You'll notice how everything was kind of smoothed out. You'll see the Detroit Speed windshield wiper motor there, which is a lot more modern looking than obviously a factory wiper was. When you look at the hinges, those are aluminum hinges. Those were also made by Detroit Speed. You'll notice the Willwood master cylinder there. You'll see the Fessler fender supports here, which are also aluminum. They look really nice. This is actually made by Anvil. These are carbon fiber inner fenders. From what I understand, they weigh about 15 pounds less than the factory inner fenders, and they give it just a little bit different look in here. One of the things that we did when we did our refresh is we added a carbon fiber air cleaner, which actually matches the carbon fiber inner fenders. The guys came up with a great idea of putting the blue air filter on there, which matches the car. The service team and Brian, they did a great job integrating all of this vintage air conditioning system here. This is a Concept 1 pulley system. All of that was changed recently. It's brand new. This engine is putting out about 625 horsepower. For anyone that doesn't know, this is fuel injected, okay? So even though it looks like it has a carburetor, it does have a Holley fuel management system, which works excellent. So this is not only an aluminum engine, it's not only a serialized ZL1 from Chevrolet Performance, which we have the documents support, but it's an engine that's been professionally built, and it does have serious horsepower. When you look at the hose here, you'll notice it's got the really nice heat shrunk clamps on here. We do that a lot rather than using the Home Depot style clamps. It runs into this really big auto-rad radiator here. Obviously you can see how large these dual fans are. This car really runs even in hot weather, Texas, California, now in Massachusetts, 180, 190 degrees. So it really runs cool. Air conditioning works super nice. Again, everything was plumbed behind the side here and underneath the fender. You can see this show panel here that just looks really nice. The engine is coupled to a Tremec T56 6-speed transmission. It does have a QA1 carbon fiber drive shaft. I know it has a QuickTime bell housing. I also remember it has not only a 12-bolt rear end, of course. I believe it's Mosier, a Posi. It's got all the upgrades to the rear end. But one thing they did underneath, besides painting the car satin black, which looks really, really sharp, they did go really full speed with all the suspension, obviously because the car was going to be autocrossed. So all the big names that you can think of, SpeedTech, Hotchkiss, it's got all the name brand, Global West. You'll see the frame connector, the subframe to the rear. You'll see the connectors, again, for stability, along with that roll cage. The car, again, is a proven autocross car. And through here, you can obviously see the brakes on this car. It's got really good-sized brakes with Wilwood 6-piston calipers. They're black. They're just quietly placed back there. You can, they're not in your face, but done right. Even the exhaust system on this car, it's got the headers is the name of the brand. They're a ceramic header. You can even see some of the tape around the headers just to kind of keep things cool, like the starter, things like that. And it goes right into a really nice dual exhaust system. I believe it has MagnaFlow mufflers, if I'm not mistaken. But anyway, this is a spectacular car. I'm going to wrap up the video here. Hopefully you found it informative. Again, you can see all of the highlights, descriptions, photos, videos on our website at msclassiccars.com. We would ask that you sign up for our VIP newsletter email. That's probably the best way to follow MS Classic Cars. We also are really making a big impact on social media. And we're proud to say this, we just hit 100,000 followers on Facebook. So collectively, between Facebook, between Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, even Threads, we're now hovering around 520,000 followers. So we want to keep that momentum going. Our goal here not only is to sell this car to the right buyer, but our goal is to eventually earn your business. Take a close look at everything that we sell. We don't just sell muscle cars. We sell cars, European cars. We sell automobilia. We sell children's rides. I'm even into vintage tractors. So we have something for everybody. If we don't earn your business on this particular car, we look forward to earning your business in the future. We appreciate you watching. And as always, rock and roll.